Commander Zyl'ax's entire military career ended the moment the human girl picked up the Titan core with one hand while eating a sandwich. "Pull!" he roared at his engineering battalion, watching 500 soldiers strain against the gravitational harnesses connected to the ancient artifact. The Titan core sat in the center of the military compound like a malevolent black sun, its surface drinking in light, its mass warping the air around it into visible distortions. "We have 5 hours and 43 minutes before this planet's core destabilizes. Pull!" The harnesses groaned. Anti-gravity arrays screamed their overload warnings. Not 1 millimeter of movement. "Commander!" his chief engineer Kalthas called out, his 4 yan stalks rigid with stress. "The gravitational readings are impossible. This object masses at 53 tons, but it's generating a localized field equivalent to—" "I don't care about the readings!" Zyl'ax's throat sacs inflated with fury. "I care about moving it to the reactor chamber before 4 billion people die. Reroute power from the eastern grid. Double the arrays." According to YouTube analytics, 98% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, "Sir, we've already tripled them. The equipment is at—" The sound of the eastern compound door opening made every head turn. A human walked in. Young, female, wearing the standard-issue orange coveralls of a station cargo handler. She had something in her hand, some kind of wrapped food, and was taking a bite while scrolling through a handheld device with her other hand. "Hey," she said around a mouthful of food, looking up. "Is someone gonna move this thing? It's blocking cargo bay 12 and I've got a shipment to unload." Zyl'ax stared. His entire command staff stared. 500 soldiers stared. The human, Emma Johnson, according to her badge, walked straight toward the Titan core. "Halt!" Zyl'ax's command voice cracked across the compound. "That is a restricted military operation. The gravitational field alone will—" Emma reached down with her free hand, the one not holding her sandwich, and picked up the Titan core. The universe stopped making sense. Every gravitational harness snapped simultaneously. Soldiers stumbled backward as the tension vanished. Anti-gravity arrays exploded in showers of sparks. Alarm klaxons wailed as every sensor in the facility registered readings that violated physics. Emma hefted the core slightly, adjusting her grip. "Oh, is this thing important?" She took another bite of her sandwich. Felt pretty heavy. Like, what, 50 tons? 60? Zyl'ax couldn't speak. His vocal sacs had collapsed entirely. "Commander!" Kalthas was bent over a scanner, all 4 eye stalks locked on the display. "Sir, the gravitational field is still active. It should be crushing everything within 50 meters. The human is standing inside it. She's holding it. The readings don't. They can't." "Where does this need to go?" Emma asked, shifting her weight casually. The ground beneath her cracked. Seismic sensors throughout the compound lit up like a war zone. "I've got like 15 minutes left on my break, and I really need to finish this tuna melt." "You," Zyl'ax found his voice, though it came out as a strangled whisper. "You're holding the Titan core." "Yeah?" Emma looked down at the object in her hand, which was actively warping space-time around itself. "That's what you guys were trying to move, right? It was sitting in front of the cargo door. I couldn't get my loader through." 500 soldiers, the words exploded from Zyl'ax's chest. 500 of my finest engineering troops with military-grade anti-gravity equipment cannot move that object. Emma blinked. "Really?" She looked at the artifact, then at the hundreds of soldiers, then back at the artifact. A smile tugged at her lips. "You guys need better gym equipment." "Sir," another officer ran up, his scanner held out. "Supreme Command is demanding an immediate explanation. They're detecting catastrophic gravitational anomalies. The Emergency Council is en route. They're preparing full planetary evacuation protocols." "Tell them," Zyl'ax stopped. What could he possibly tell them? That a teenage human cargo handler had solved their crisis by walking into the room? That she was currently violating every known law of physics while complaining about her lunch break? Emma checked her phone. Seriously though, where does this go? I'm on union time here, and my supervisor gets pissy about overtime. Kyle Thas stepped forward, his movements mechanical with shock. The reactor chamber. Sub-level 47. It must be precisely placed to stabilize the planetary core, or the resulting cascade will... Cool, just point me in the right direction. Emma adjusted the Titan core to a more comfortable position. The movement created a pressure wave that knocked over 3 soldiers. She didn't notice. And maybe someone can show me? This place is a maze. Zyl'ax looked at his command staff. His command staff looked back. 500 soldiers stood frozen in poses of disbelief. The human took another bite of her sandwich, waiting. This way, Zyl'ax heard himself say. His voice sounded distant, disconnected. Follow me. As Emma Johnson walked past with the Titan core tucked under one arm like a briefcase, casually finishing her lunch, Zyl'ax realized he was watching the end of everything he thought he understood about the universe, and she was concerned about Union regulations. Zyl'ax led the way down the main corridor, trying to project an air of military authority while his entire understanding of physics crumbled behind him. Emma Johnson followed, the Titan core swinging slightly at her side like a gym bag, her other hand still holding the remains of her sandwich. "Commander," Kyle Thas whispered urgently, his scanner emitting a continuous stream of error codes. "The structural stress calculations, they don't make sense. Each footstep she takes is registering as a localized seismic event. The floor plating should have failed 3 steps ago." "I can see that," Zyl'ax hissed back, watching hairline fractures spiderweb across the reinforced deck plates with each casual step the human took. "No, sir, you don't understand." Kael'thas's eye stalks trembled. "Those plates are rated to withstand starship landing impacts. She's walking through them like... "Hey," Emma called out, not looking up from her phone. "Is this place much farther? I've got a text from my supervisor asking where I am." "Sub-level 47, Zyl'ax said, his throat dry. "We need to take the emergency freight elevator." "Emergency freight elevator?" Emma looked up, finally showing interest. "Why not just take the stairs? It's faster, right?" "The stairs aren't rated for..." Zyl'ax stopped himself. "For what? For a human carrying a gravitational anomaly that should theoretically be impossible to move?" "The elevator is protocol." Emma shrugged. The gesture created a pressure wave that rattled the wall panels. "Whatever. But seriously, can we speed this up? I've got a union-mandated break ending in 20 minutes, and I still need to actually, eat." She took another bite of her sandwich. The Titan core hummed slightly in her grip, its gravitational field visibly distorting the corridor lighting. Emma didn't seem to notice. 3 soldiers from Zyl'ax's engineering battalion rushed forward. "Sir, allow us to assist the human with the artifact." "No, wait," Zyl'ax started. The soldiers reached for the Titan core. The gravitational field caught them like insects in amber, then flung them backward with bone-crushing force. They tumbled across the deck, groaning. Emma looked down at them, concerned. "You guys okay? That looked rough." "The gravitational field," Kyle Thas breathed. "It should be crushing her. She's at the epicenter. The force differential should be..." His scanner exploded in his hands. "Oops," Emma smiled apologetically. "Yeah, your equipment keeps doing that around me. I think I'm messing with your sensors or something. Happens at work all the time." Zyl'ax's command tablet buzzed frantically. "Supreme Military Command," he answered with shaking hands. "Commander Zyl'ax, explain the gravitational anomalies we're detecting." Admiral Dirax's face filled the screen, his scales flushed crimson with stress. "We're preparing full evacuation protocols. The Emergency Council is demanding..." "Sir, the situation is..." Zyl'ax struggled for words. "How did you explain this?" "Under control." "Under control?" "Our satellites are detecting reality-breaking gravitational readings emanating from your compound. What is..." Dirax stopped, his eyes focusing on something behind Zyl'ax. "Is that a human holding the Titan core?" Emma waved with her sandwich hand. Hi. Commander, how did that object weighs more than our largest transport ship? Emma laughed. Actually laughed. Really? Feels pretty light. You guys need better gym equipment. She hefted the core slightly for emphasis. The movement registered on seismographs across 3 continents. Sir, Zyl'ax said carefully, the human walked in and picked it up. My entire battalion couldn't move it with military anti-gravity arrays. She just picked it up. Dirax's face went through several colors Zyl'ax had never seen before. Okay, look, Emma interrupted, checking her phone again. Not to be rude or whatever, but can someone just show me where this thing goes? I really don't have time for the whole bureaucracy thing right now. The bureaucracy, Dirax sputtered. Yeah, meetings and explanations and stuff. I get it, you guys are military, everything's got protocols, but I'm literally just trying to do my job here. She finished her sandwich, crumpled the wrapper, and looked around for a trash receptacle. Finding none, she stuffed it in her pocket. So stairs or elevator, what's it gonna be? Commander, Kael'thas spoke up, his voice hollow with shock. Sir, the human just walked through the security checkpoint. Zyl'ax spun around. Emma had indeed simply walked forward while they were talking. The reinforced security barrier, designed to withstand siege weapons, had a human-shaped hole punched through it. Broken metal edges still glowed with heat from the friction. Oh, sorry, Emma called back. Was I supposed to wait? These doors weren't opening, so I just... She made a casual walking gesture. Those barriers, Zyl'ax said numbly, are rated for starship-grade weapons. Huh. Emma looked at the demolished checkpoint. Might want to get better doors. These seem pretty flimsy. On the command tablet, Admiral Zyl'ax had gone completely silent, his mouth working soundlessly. You know what, Emma said, her tone shifting from polite to impatient. Forget the escort. Just tell me which way to sub-level 47, and I'll take it from here. You guys seem really stressed about this, and I'm making it worse just standing around. No, Zyl'ax found his voice. No, you can't. We need precise placement. The planetary core stabilization requires exact... Yeah, precision placement. Emma rolled her eyes. I used to work construction. I know how to set heavy things down carefully. Just point me in the right direction. She adjusted her grip on the Titan core. The deck beneath her feet groaned, then cracked, then simply gave up and compressed into a denser form of matter. Emma still didn't notice. Phase 3. System breakdown. Military protocol dictates armed security escort, Zyl'ax announced, desperately trying to salvage some semblance of command authority. He gestured, and a squadron of tactical vehicles roared to life, their engines echoing through the compound. You will be accompanied to sub-level 47 under full guard. Sure, whatever. Emma started walking. The vehicles accelerated to keep pace. Then they accelerated more. Then they pushed their engines into the red zone, turbines screaming. Emma was walking faster than they could drive. How is she? One of the drivers called over the radio, panic edging his voice. Commander, we're at maximum speed. She's walking. Emma wasn't even trying. Her gait was casual, unhurried, the Titan core swinging slightly at her side. She pulled out her phone again, texting one-handed while walking at what the speedometers registered as 70 kilometers per hour. Sorry, she called back without turning. Am I going too fast? I'm trying to make good time here. Kael'thas clutched his replacement scanner like a lifeline. Commander, what are we supposed to... The compound's main entrance exploded inward. Not with weapons fire, but with the sudden arrival of Supreme Military Command's flagship transport. Admiral Zyl'ax emerged before the ramp fully deployed, his ceremonial armor askew, his scales still flushed with stress crimson. Halt all operations, his voice boomed across every speaker in the facility. I am assuming direct command of this situation under Emergency Protocol Omega-7. Emma stopped walking. The tactical vehicles nearly crashed into her before swerving away. Finally, she muttered, someone who can actually make decisions. Zyl'ax strode forward, flanked by a full honor guard of Supreme Command's finest warriors. Each one was a veteran of multiple campaigns, their armor decorated with commendations, their weapons gleaming. They took one look at Emma casually holding the Titan core, and their disciplined formation faltered. "Human," Zyl'ax said, his voice controlled but strained. "I am Admiral Zyl'ax of Supreme Military Command. I need you to remain absolutely still while we assess the situation." "Cool. Clock's ticking, though." Emma checked her phone. 12 minutes left. Zyl'ax gestured sharply. A team of scientists rushed forward with advanced scanning equipment, the kind used to analyze stellar anomalies and weapons-grade exotic matter. They aimed their instruments at Emma. Every single scanner overloaded simultaneously. One actually caught fire. "Impossible," the lead scientist whispered, staring at his melted equipment. "The readings were off every scale we have. The gravitational shear alone she shouldn't be able to—" "What's your military classification, human?" Zyl'ax demanded. Emma blinked. "Military? Dude, I'm literally a part-time cargo handler. I load boxes." The words hung in the air like a death sentence. "Part-time," Zyl'ax repeated numbly. "Cargo handler." "Yeah, well, this semester anyway. Last summer I worked construction back on Earth. That was actually harder. We had to lift I-beams and stuff. This is pretty easy by comparison." Emma shifted the Titan core to her other hand without apparent effort. The movement created a localized pressure differential that shattered windows 3 buildings away. Zyl'ax turned to his aide. "Access the Galactic Database. Human strength assessments." "All of them. Now." The aide's fingers flew across his tablet. His face went pale. Well, paler. "Sir, according to our records, humans are classified as moderate strength, Tier 3 labor capable, suitable for light industrial work." "Light industrial work?" Kael'thas's voice cracked. "She's holding an object that my entire engineering battalion, 500 soldiers with military-grade equipment, couldn't budge." "Oh," Emma's expression shifted to understanding. "You guys thought humans were weak?" "Our assessments," Zyl'ax started. "Let me guess." Emma's grin was almost predatory. "You based your measurements on humans who were, like, working in offices, doing diplomatic stuff, trying not to break your things?" The silence was absolute. "Oh my God," Emma started laughing. "You did. You actually thought—" She had to pause to catch her breath. Okay. So here's the thing. When we work with you guys, we have to be really, really careful, because your stuff is—" She gestured around the compound. "Well, it's kind of fragile. No offense, so we dial it way back, like way back." "Dial it back," Zyl'ax repeated. His career, his entire understanding of combat capability, was crumbling. "You mean humans have been holding back?" "Well, yeah. Would you use full strength around, like, a bunch of toddlers? You'd break everything." Emma said it so matter-of-factly, so casually. "I'm pretty average, by the way. Like, I don't even work out that much. Maybe 3 times a week." Zyl'ax pulled up footage on his command tablet, his hands shaking. Scenes of humans working in various galactic facilities. A human janitor carefully, delicately pushing a cleaning cart. A human engineer gingerly handling tools. A human dock worker slowly, precisely moving cargo containers. "They're all moving like they're walking on eggshells," Kael'thas breathed, watching over the Admiral's shoulder. "Every single one. They're not weak. They're being gentle." "Our entire military-industrial complex," Zyl'ax said slowly, each word heavy with horror, "based its human strength assessments on watching them be polite." "To be fair," Emma offered helpfully, "we did break a lot of your stuff at first. Remember the whole handshake incident at first contact?" "Yeah, your ambassador was in the hospital for like 3 months. We've been really careful since then." Zyl'ax felt something inside him break. He looked at his 500 elite soldiers, warriors who had trained for decades, who had survived combat operations across multiple star systems, who represented the pinnacle of military engineering capability. One 19-year-old part-time cargo handler had just made them all irrelevant. "Our strongest soldiers trained for decades," he said, his voice hollow. "Specialized equipment, advanced techniques, military-grade enhancement protocols. Emma barely glanced his way. Cool story. Which hallway do I take? She's not even impressed, Kael'thas whispered. We threw everything we had at moving. That core, 500 soldiers, military-grade anti-gravity arrays, decades of combined training, and she's not impressed because to her, this is just Tuesday, Emma finished. Yeah, pretty much. Look, not to be rude, but I really need to get this thing installed. Can we do the whole existential crisis thing later? Admiral Zyl'ax looked at Commander Zyl'ax. Zyl'ax looked back. Between them passed the wordless understanding that everything, every military assessment, every strategic calculation, every assumption about human capability, had been catastrophically wrong. And this teenage girl, carrying their planetary salvation under one arm, was annoyed that they were wasting her lunch break. The reactor chamber was a cathedral of technology, its walls lined with cooling systems and quantum stabilizers that hummed with barely contained power. At its center sat an empty cradle, precisely engineered to hold the Titan core at the exact position needed to synchronize with the planet's destabilizing core far below. Emma walked in, the Titan core still tucked under her arm, and looked around. Okay, so where does this go? The cradle, Zyl'ax pointed with a trembling hand, but the placement must be precise to within 0.01 millimeters. We have laser guidance systems, gravitational alignment sensors, and… Got it! Emma walked over to the cradle, eyeballing the distance. Wait! Kael'thas lunged forward. The alignment systems need to be… Emma set the Titan core down. The planetary core stabilization readings lit up instantly across every monitor in the facility. Perfect synchronization. Zero deviation. The planet's seismic warnings ceased. Deep beneath them, the core locked into stable rotation. Crisis averted. Emma dusted off her hands. Cool. Is there, paperwork or something? I need to clock out. Admiral Zyl'ax stared at the readouts. She eyeballed precision that requires computer-guided systems. Human depth perception and spatial awareness, Kael'thas muttered, frantically taking notes. Add it to the list of things we catastrophically underestimated. Emma pulled out her phone, tapping at the screen. Oh, good. Still got 2 minutes left on my break. Hey, do you guys have the forms I need to fill out? My supervisor's gonna ask why I left the cargo bay. Forms, Zyl'ax repeated. He started laughing. It wasn't a healthy sound. You want forms. You just saved 4 billion lives and you want to know about forms. I mean, yeah, Emma looked confused. That's how jobs work. You do stuff. You fill out the forms about the stuff you did. Otherwise, how does anyone track labor hours? Zyl'ax lowered himself onto a support railing, his ceremonial armor creaking. Commander Zyl'ax, I need you to file a complete report on this incident. What do I even write? Zyl'ax gestured helplessly at Emma, who was now scrolling through her phone. Civilian humans solved military crisis that 500 elite soldiers couldn't address. Part-time cargo handler carried object that required anti-gravity arrays to even attempt moving. Teenage girl from Earth treats planetary-scale disasters as minor workplace inconvenience. All of that, Zyl'ax's voice was heavy. And add this, every human we've encountered in galactic society has been consciously, carefully reducing their strength to avoid damaging our infrastructure and injuring our people. Oh, totally, Emma agreed, looking up from her phone. Like, my mom's a homemaker, right? She once moved our house's foundation during spring cleaning because she didn't like where the builders had put it. She's not even strong by human standards. She just does a lot of gardening. Builds character, she says. The silence that followed was profound. Your mother, Kael'thas said carefully, moved a building's foundation during cleaning. Well, yeah, it was off by half a meter. Really bugged her. Emma shrugged. Anyway, she made me help, and let me tell you, that was a workout. I was sore for days. Zyl'ax pulled up his command interface with shaking hands. Initiating emergency protocol, complete revision of all human threat assessments, classification upgrade, extreme, diplomatic priority, maximum, strategic recommendation: ensure humans remain friendly at all costs. We're not that scary, Emma protested. You carried an object that weighs more than a starship, Zyl'ax said flatly. Your mother moves buildings. You consider this normal. I mean, when you put it that way, Emma checked her phone again. Oh, crap. Break's over. I gotta clock back in. She started toward the door, then paused. Hey, thanks for not being weird about this. Some species get really freaked out when they find out what humans can actually do. Freaked out, Kalthos whispered. Yeah, you guys were cool. Anyway, I'm hitting the gym after work if anyone wants to come. Fair warning, though, human gyms are pretty intense. Emma waved cheerfully. See ya. She left. The 3 military officers stood in silence, processing. She's going to the gym, Zyl'ax said numbly, to intentionally make herself stronger. Human recreational activity, Kalthos added to his notes, his stylus trembling, includes voluntary physical enhancement protocols. Zyl'ax walked to the chamber entrance and looked out. His 500 soldiers were still standing in the compound, staring at nothing, their entire understanding of strength and capability shattered. Emma Johnson was visible in the distance, walking back toward Cargo Bay 12 at a pace that would make their fastest vehicles struggle. She was humming something, a human song probably, something cheerful and completely at odds with the fact that she'd just casually resolved a planetary extinction event during her lunch break. Commander, Zyl'ax's voice cut through his thoughts. I'm implementing new protocols immediately. No galactic citizen is to challenge a human to any physical task. No competitions. No demonstrations. No asking them to show their full strength. Is that understood? Perfectly, sir. Zyl'ax watched Emma disappear into the cargo facility. Though I suspect most humans wouldn't accept anyway, they seem to understand we're fragile. They've been navigating our society like we're made of glass, Kalthos said, still writing frantically. Every handshake calculated, every lifted object carefully controlled, every movement consciously reduced, and we never noticed because we assumed their gentleness was weakness. Zyl'ax stood, adjusting his armor with as much dignity as he could muster. I have an emergency council meeting to attend, where I must explain that our entire civilization has been protected by human politeness. He paused. They're going to promote me or execute me. I'm not sure which would be worse. Zyl'ax finally tore his gaze away from the cargo facility. What do I tell my soldiers? The truth. Zyl'ax's expression was grim. That they just witnessed what happens when a Deathworld inhabitant stops holding back. Even slightly. The Galactic Council chamber had seen many emergency sessions over its 1,000-year history. Wars, plagues, stellar collapse, but nothing quite like the human strength incident, as it was now officially designated in the records. Admiral Zyl'ax stood at the podium, his presentation flickering across hollow screens that surrounded the assembled representatives of 47 species. Footage of Emma Johnson casually carrying the Titan core played on loop. In conclusion, Zyl'ax said, his voice steady despite 3 days without sleep, we have been catastrophically wrong about human capabilities for the entirety of First Contact. The chamber erupted in chaos, questions, denials, panic. Order! The Council Prime's voice cut through the noise. Admiral, are you saying that every human in galactic employment has been holding back? Not just holding back, Council Prime. Consciously, carefully reducing their strength to approximately 0.1% of their actual capability to avoid injuring us or damaging our infrastructure. The silence that followed was absolute. Commander Zyl'ax sat in the observer's gallery, watching his career timeline update in real time on his personal datapad. Demoted for mission failure, then immediately promoted for successfully managing human intervention without casualties. The military bureaucracy couldn't decide if he'd failed spectacularly or succeeded miraculously, probably both. New protocols are being implemented galaxy-wide, Zyl'ax continued. Military academies will now include mandatory coursework. Why Deathworld inhabitants are terrifying. Emma Johnson, part-time cargo handler, age 19, has become case study number 1. She represents what humans consider average fitness. A council member raised a trembling appendage. Average? She works out 3 times per week and considers this minimal exercise. More chaos. Zyl'ax let it wash over him. He'd stopped being surprised 2 days ago, around the time he'd discovered that human children regularly engaged in something called playground equipment that would kill most adult aliens through acceleration forces alone. Across the station, in the Civilian Fitness Center, Emma was having a much better day. She loaded another set of weight plates onto the bar, the facility's entire supply actually, and settled under it for her warm-up squats. Around her, a few alien gym-goers had stopped their light stretching routines to watch in horrified fascination. Her phone buzzed. Text from her friend Sarah back on Earth. Sarah, how's the new job? Emma, pretty good. Had a weird day yesterday? Though, Sarah? Weird how? Emma, aliens needed help moving something, got super dramatic about it, like it was 50 tons, chill lol, Sarah. OMG, did you break something again? Emma, no, I was careful. They were just really impressed for some reason, Sarah. Emma, you know they're fragile, Emma. I know, I was gentle, I promise. Sarah, good, don't get fired. We need you for the hiking trip next weekend. Emma grinned, finishing her set, the bar bent slightly under the weight. She'd have to mention that to the facility manager. Their equipment wasn't great. Emma, hiking trip is still on, found this mountain range near the station. Looks fun, Sarah. Don't tell the aliens you're climbing mountains for fun, Emma. Why not? Sarah, because they think walking upstairs is exercise, Emma. Fair. In the Galactic Council chamber, Zyl'ax was fielding questions about human recreational activities. The hiking revelation had just hit the assembled representatives like a tactical strike. They climb mountains, a council member repeated, voluntarily, for pleasure. Yes, Zyl'ax confirmed. It's considered a relaxing weekend activity. Zyl'ax updated his personal log, adding another entry to the growing list of things to never, ever suggest to a human. Physical competitions. No. Strength demonstrations. Absolutely not. Casual hiking trips. Apparently suicidal. The next morning, Zyl'ax returned to the military compound to find Emma already at work. She was carrying 20 cargo containers stacked impossibly high, moving them from one bay to another. Each container was rated for 5 tons of cargo. She saw him and waved cheerfully with her free hand. Hey, how's it going? Well, thank you, Zyl'ax responded, his voice carefully formal and respectful and absolutely terrified. And you? Pretty good. Got my workout in. Had breakfast. Ready for another day. She set down the containers with perfect precision, not even breathing hard. You guys figure out all that stuff from yesterday? Yes, new protocols, policy updates, complete revision of human capability assessments. Cool, cool. Emma pulled out her schedule. Hey, I'm doing cargo bay rotations all week. Same time tomorrow? Yes, Zyl'ax said quietly. Please. Emma laughed, that easy, genuine laugh that somehow made the situation worse. You guys are weird. But like, good weird. See ya. She headed back toward the cargo facility, humming some pop song, completely unaware that she'd triggered the largest military policy revision in galactic history. Zyl'ax watched her go, then pulled up his personal log for a final entry. Personal note, Commander Zyl'ax, Day 4. Post-incident. Never, under any circumstances, challenge a human to anything physical. Not strength, not endurance, not even basic movement. They are not showing off. They are not competing. They are simply existing at a level we cannot comprehend. My 500 elite soldiers will never live down being outperformed by a 19-year-old with a sandwich. Neither will I. Secondary note, Emma Johnson asked if I wanted to join her gym sessions. I declined. I value my life. Tertiary note, she seemed disappointed. This somehow makes it worse. Final note, humans consider us friends. This is the only reason we're still alive. He closed the log and returned to his office, where the paperwork from yesterday's incident still waited. 500 incident reports, equipment damage assessments, crisis resolution documentation, and one handwritten note from Emma. "Sorry if I broke anything. EJ." Zyl'ax filed it carefully with the rest of the documentation. Someday, when military historians tried to understand how the galaxy had so fundamentally misunderstood humanity, this would be their primary source material. A teenage girl's apology note for saving 4 billion lives during her lunch break. He started laughing. It was either that or cry. Outside, Emma began moving another 40 tons of cargo, still humming, still cheerful, still completely unaware that she'd become the galaxy's most terrifying case study, and that was probably for the best.